keeping my promise that no one should be in jail merely for the use of possession of marijuana. God Almighty. And those who are in jail are out, they're going to be released and their records are going to be expunged.
Welcome to Aviva Sings Out, y'all. Today, I'll be sharing more trials and tribulations of the hempdemic that we are all unfortunately experiencing.
Would you be seated, please, ladies and gentlemen? Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to summarize for you the meeting that I have just had with the bipartisan leaders. I began the meeting by making this statement, which I think needs to be made to the nation. America's public enemy number one in the United States is drug abuse. In order to fight and defeat this enemy, it is necessary to wage a new, all-out offensive.
It's important that you pay attention, because though some have been particularly preyed upon and hurt, we are all truly in this together, and you could be next.
You never know. Nunca.
All y'all probably got wind of the new Barbie movie sweeping the nation this summer, but you may not have heard the breaking news.
Huge news, everyone! What is it? It is summer!
About the Barbieries. Have you? Do we need to make a movie to get your attention? I'm a Barbieri girl in a Barbieri world. It's so spastic. How laws attack.
America's public enemy number one in the United States is drug abuse.
I'm a Barbieri girl in a Barbieri world. It's so spastic. How laws attack us. If we could get as much attention mustered up for this injustice, an intervention on mass proportions could save us all a lot of heartache and pain and trauma.
A child's eyes fill with your heroic achievements. Few of us can give youngsters something as special and strong to look up to as you. Please don't let them down. And this camera in front of us, it's a reminder that in Nancy's and my former profession, and in the newsrooms and production rooms of our media centers, you have a special opportunity with your enormous influence to send alarm signals across the nation.
This family was traumatized. This family was on trial a month after the Barbie movie hit the theaters, facing possible life imprisonment for growing a couple of organic plants in their Georgia garden after sharing their harvest with a few dear friends and neighbors, one of them, unfortunately, being a drug war informant.
Earlier this year, Irizarry agreed to speak with the AP in Puerto Rico before saying goodbye to family. He says the whole war on drugs is flawed.
The only way we can do our job is to have informants, and the only good informants are the ones that play both sides, and we all know this.
Here's the story. Sometime in January or February of 2018, Alex Makarov approached his sweet neighbor and asked if he could have cannabis medicine for his mother, who was dying of cancer. So Kelly accepted the money to help with her maintenance fees. But the Barbieris did not have a for-profit operation going on. Kelly and Dan have other careers, and their private herbal home apothecary is for their personal, physical, mental, and emotional well-being. As we all know, even just the act of gardening is a therapeutic and energizing activity, whereas commercial growing a product can be stressful and draining.
When we all come together, united, striving for this cause, then those who are killing America and terrorizing it with slow but sure chemical destruction will see that they are up against the mightiest force for good that we know. Then they will have no dark alleyways to hide in.
On March 29th, 2018, 2:52 p.m., Kelly Barbieri was arrested. Guns put to her face and all, in her own home. And Dan Barbieri was later arrested on his way home from work. The police obtained a warrant for their arrest after convincing Alex to entrap them for selling him medical cannabis for his mom, who had cancer. It was part of a deal that they made with him after finding him with hard drugs. How did the police know that they could trust Alex to be safe? Were they putting the Barbieris in danger by encouraging a convicted drug felon to go into their home and ask for this medicine? And I mean beyond the other very real dangers resulting from his mission accomplished. What if they denied him the medicine? And what if, as a result, he got crazy, upset, and violent? Because it's not exactly easy to get the medicine he was seeking. He had nowhere else to turn, perhaps, to get the medicine he needed to save his mom's life. Not only were Kelly and Dan separated and jailed for 13 days.
In order to fight and defeat this enemy, it is necessary to wage a new all-out offensive.
Who took care of their dogs and chickens, but their autistic child was placed in the care of the state. All of their cars and their life savings of $34,000 was stolen from them, all in the name of protecting Georgia citizens with their drug task force. They still haven't gotten any of that back. Why is that okay? Brian Kemp? Biden? What's going on? What happened to innocent before proven guilty? This behavior clearly is you thinking someone is guilty before proven innocent. What's up with the Constitution?
Think for a moment how special it is to be an American. Can we doubt that only a divine providence placed this land, this island of freedom, here as a refuge for all those people in the world who yearn to breathe free?
All of their cars and their life savings of $34,000 was stolen from them. All in the—
Mommy, can I please tell you what I see through my child eyes?
Of course, Scribs. What do you see?
Well, to me it very much looks like the Barbiaries. They're just prisoners of war. They were attacked, their stuff was pillaged and stolen just like we read about in the wars. Like in Nazi Germany and in World War I. All the wars. They take all their stuff, they steal. War seems to make that stuff okay. Why? Nobody likes being a prisoner of war. And they're just hostages. They've been hostages for years now. And I hope they don't become prisoners of war anymore. We need to free our prisoners of war. This is horrible. All the prisoners of the drug war need to be set free. This is just so horrible. I can't stand war. I can't stand hostages. I can't stand people's rights being taken away. Mommy, please help. Oh, honey. Oh. Hopefully we'll get peace on Earth while we're still alive, including peace from this war. Thank you for caring so much.
Anyway, when they finally got out on bond, part of the condition was that they were not allowed to leave the state for any reason. Again, that's not freedom. They had to wait till their trial, which was 5 years later, August 28th, 2023. They did get approval in 2020 to travel for a few days to the beach.
Excuse us while we suit up for some beach day fun.
Beach both of us off?
Nobody's gonna beach anyone off.
But their freedoms were compromised for over 5 years. I ask you this. Would you have personally chosen that fate for them? What would a person have to do in your life in order for you to be moved, to cage them up and take away their freedom, even for just one night? You can read the article by Hannah Cox, linked below, for more of this devastating story. The story of their traumatic, horrifying arrest, which truly presents itself as a cruel robbery and kidnapping of innocent, compassionate people.
Winning the crusade against drugs will not be achieved by just throwing money at the problem. Your government will continue to act aggressively.
I'm a Barbieri girl in a Barbieri world. It's so spastic how laws attack us. Though Kelly and Dan were arrested by the state, there was absolutely no harm done to anyone except the entire Barbieri family, and of course their loved ones. We we, as Georgia citizens, are supposedly victims, and we are allowing them to be robbed, kidnapped, and caged, according to Bartow County.
And I flashed to this earlier, but let's take some time and marinate on it. Did we know we were lying about the drugs? Of course we did, says John Ehrlichman, assistant to the president for domestic affairs under President Richard Nixon. This is a drug war confessional, people. He said, you want to know what this war on drugs was really all about? The Nixon campaign in 1968 and the Nixon White House after that had two enemies, the anti-war left and black people. You understand what I'm saying? He said. We knew we couldn't make it illegal to be either against the war or black, but by getting the public to associate the hippies with marijuana and blacks with heroin, and then criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt those communities. We could arrest their leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and vilify them night after night on the evening news. Did we know we were lying about the drugs? Of course we did.
The war against marijuana has ruined so many lives.
This plant literally saved my life.
Their counter-arguments always boil down to the simple fact that cannabis is a Schedule I substance. That is one of many reasons that the cornerstone of any federal reform must be removing cannabis from the Controlled Substances Act entirely.
It would also benefit the thousands of veterans.
Keeping cannabis on the schedule keeps the plant criminalized.
Who suffer from chronic pain and post-traumatic stress disorder.
Even if you were to move it to Schedule 5, possession without a doctor's prescription would still remain a federal felony.
Under current law, the VA is unable to prescribe medical marijuana to its patients, instead having to rely on traditional pharmaceuticals and opioids, and we know the dangers of opioids.
There's always political agendas going on, and I remember they had the whole red list of commies, so I guess they couldn't make being a communist illegal in free America, but they've got these other sneaky ways. And let's circle back around to this ex-DEA who said the war on drugs was all a game.
The goal was to generate targets, seizures, and prosecutions.
But Irizarry says it became more of a private slush fund for him and his friends. He has implicated a list of former colleagues in Miami, accusing them of lining their pockets and falsifying records to pay for parties and overseas jaunts.
It was mostly about drinking and girls. And then we sprinkled in a couple work things in there, but it was more of a party first, work second.
And there you have it. Rich people are getting richer, and people, the common people, the ordinary people, are continuing to be deprived of their own right to grow and create and cultivate their own medicine. Is this really okay?
Jose Irizarry says they called themselves Team America, a group of jet-setting, high-living federal agents and prosecutors who were supposed to be fighting the war on drugs. But the former Drug Enforcement Administration star says they all knew that war was unwinnable, so they were going to milk it for all it was worth.
DEA is a game. The drug war is a game. It was a very fun game that we were playing.
Is this really something that's praiseworthy? You decide.
The 48-year-old Irizarry pleaded guilty in September 2020 to 19 criminal counts, including bank fraud and diverting millions in drug proceeds. In January, Irizarry reported to the Federal Correctional Institution, Miami, to begin serving a 12-year sentence. He says the job turned him into someone he wasn't.
He says the job turned him into someone he wasn't.
I should have been stronger and I wasn't, and I'm not, I can't justify my actions. I should have known. I knew it was right from wrong, and I chose wrong many times.
They will have no dark alleyways to hide in.
Meanwhile, in pop culture, cannabis does not appear to be illegal, does it?
You have a man who rolls you blunts.
Yes.
Yes.
Weed does not appear to be illegal.
I get my weed from California, that's that shit.
In fact, it appears to be encouraged. Besides the fact that the Barbieries are not criminals, the actual truth is that they are heroes. They provided Alex and his mom a medicine unattainable in Georgia, though it has proven effects to help someone heal from cancer. Especially when it's fresh and raw and can be juiced with celery, carrots, watercress. In Georgia, cannabis medicine is now legal. If you're interested in getting your card and don't know how, go to the video linked below. But even the medicine now legally available in Georgia for Georgia citizens today does not have the potency and freshness that homegrown cannabis, like from the Barbieri garden, provides.
I also want to say we've got a long way to go. We still have a lot of work to do. We need to educate physicians on the medical cannabis that we provide.
Can I help to educate the physicians about the medical cannabis that you provide?
It does not have the potency or freshness that homegrown cannabis provides for a medical need. What we have here in Georgia is an oil with a dangerous ingredient. Why are people only allowed to take medicine when it is paired with this poison in Georgia? Doesn't that seem more of a criminal energy than having a fresh plant?
Then those who are killing America and terrorizing it with slow but sure chemical destruction will see that they are up against the mightiest force for good that we know. And I've asked someone very special to join me.
How can we make this right? People, how do we make this right? And how do we stop the torture from continuing?
Just say no.
The trial lasted 7 days, and after the jury deliberated, though they dropped the drug trafficking charge,
That is very thoughtful of you.
they still found the Barbieris guilty of manufacturing marijuana and the sale of marijuana. Criminal defense attorneys Catherine Bernard, who represented Kelly, and Alex Johnson, who represented Dan, did an outstanding job presenting the case.
Hello there, young maiden. What, pray tell, are you doing? I will pray tell you. Some people littered the beach, so my friend and I are cleaning up.
Still, the education lacking in our country on the medical value of cannabis.
This plant literally saved my life.
As well as what jury nullification is, I believe contribute to this sad decision to find them guilty. Many of us do not realize that as a jury, we, the people, being a jury of their peers, have the power to deem a law unlawful.
Wow.
That's right. So even though it's apparently against the law to grow your own cannabis, the jury may decide that this law is silly, that it's bad, that it's flawed, and therefore they are not guilty.
The plan that's heaven sent. We need ultimate freedom to use cannabis in our human kingdom. Laws can have flaws. Ready?
Make sense? Again, how can we make this right? Well, there are a couple of things. You, my friend. Yes, you. Yes, you. I'm talking to you. There are a couple of things that you are warmly invited to do. What happens next is that their judge, Judge Suzanne Smith, this Tuesday at 11 a.m.
Actually, Mama, it was postponed to this Monday, December 11th. At 8:30 a.m.
That's right, Scribbles. This Monday is when the judge is going to decide the sentencing.
Which can range from simply community service and fines to 10 or so years in jail.
She also does have the power to overturn the jury and charge this couple not guilty.
So you are warmly invited to show up to this public hearing, to show your support, to show the judge that you want to see leniency in the sentencing. What you can also do, which can help so much, is to write an email, a letter to the Honorable Judge, to share your thoughts in defense of Kelly and Dan Barbieri, and to encourage the most minimum sentence possible. All letters can be addressed to Judge Suzanne Smith and emailed to barbieri@justice.law. Kelly says this will help a lot, and she appreciates all of you helping out. Please get these letters in ASAP. Yes, we as a people can decide a law
And an entire war
is unlawful and pressure the rest of society to stop enforcing a flawed law.
Wow.
This is the reaction I get when I explain jury nullification to people.
Whew, I need to take a moment here, just a second. Wow.
It's really ridiculous for people to be starving to death on this planet when there's a lot of food available.
This is your future, everybody.
There's a lot of food available.
This is your future, America. These are your children.
If they watch the material that is made available to them, then let them make their own decisions.
Our it's not a joke, I'm serious.
Let your conscience be your guide.
It's a hemp revival for our own survival. It's a hemp revival. Can have flies. Flies can have flies. Look in your heart, believe in the cause.
I'm a Barbie every girl in a Barbie every world. It's so spastic how laws attack us.
Our young people are helping us lead the way.
My generation will remember how America swung into action when we were attacked in World War II. The war was not just fought by the fellows flying the planes or driving the tanks. It was fought at home by a mobilized nation, men and women alike, building planes and ships, clothing sailors and soldiers, feeding Marines and airmen. And it was fought by children planting victory gardens and collecting cans.